Hello, Thrivers, and welcome to today's episode of Thriver TV. Yeah, we're live on Instagram as well, it seems. Today, we are going to examine how narcissists often simply don't apologize, or if they do, they fail to offer a genuine apology. Now, I just did a little live a couple of days ago, which was narcissistic apology versus genuine apologies. But I wanted to do a deeper dive today, and I wanted to really get into some clear examples and also some Thriver tips to be able to help you with this. Because there's been a fair few questions and there can be confusion about boundaries. And what do you do with the devastation of this? It's awful. Okay, so when narcissists apologize, they resort instead to what we call non-apologies. These are insincere apologies, and they often come far too late, and they're absolutely not followed by appropriate actions, and they leave you feeling unsafe and disrespected. So today we're going to explore why narcissists rely on these fake apologies, what the impact on our lives is and our well-being, as well as strategies for moving forward from such devastation, as well as what a true apology is. We're going to unpack that today, and how you can be the person that deserves one. And of course, as I said earlier, I want to give you some many real-life examples to help with this. If you're tuning into my channel for the first time, I want you to know that my approach to narcissistic abuse recovery is this. I focus on helping you heal for real from the inside out. I'm deeply passionate about not just educating you about narcissists, but empowering you to rise above and beyond the scars of narcissistic abuse. You may think you'll only ever be a survivor after abuse, but I am really mission focused to show you how to thrive better than ever, even before abuse, or even if abuse is all you've ever known. So, if you're ready to not just survive but thrive after enduring narcissistic abuse, join me in the Thriver movement. Declare your commitment to your healing journey by writing Thrive On. Write Thrive On in the comments. It's a beautiful, powerful declaration to yourself. It really is. So I'm just having a look at the chat now. Yeah. All right. So also, please share and like this video. Some of our most favorite people are in there already. It's awesome to see you guys. Join my page, subscribe to my channels, and help spread this vital message, because the more that you get involved in this, the more we get through the algorithms, which is really important. Let's check out a narcissist's approach to apology. The absolute truth is narcissists loathe apologizing because they perceive it as if they're admitting inferiority, which to them means elevating others above themselves. They operate from a separation consciousness, which views relationships as power plays with no middle ground for mutual empowerment or vulnerability. Narcissists serve their false self, which must remain above reproach, and admitting fault would shatter this facade and potentially trigger a narcissistic injury, which they want to avoid at all costs. They hate narcissistic injury, having to face the truth about themselves. When required to apologize, narcissists deny wrongdoing, they shift blame, they make excuses, or they attack the accuser to deflect from their own shortcomings. We're going to unpack those 4 stages in some examples so that you're going to understand that really well. This behavior is about preserving their fragile self-image and avoiding genuine connection that comes with empathy and equality, which of course means you've got to be responsible and you've got to take responsibility to have a relationship that works. They don't want that. Let's get into example 1, which is a personal relationship scenario. And how this goes is an example such as a narcissist forgets their spouse's birthday, which they promise to remember and celebrate, and it causes hurt and disappointment. So this is an example of denying wrongdoing. The narcissist claims they didn't forget the birthday and they were planning a surprise for a later date. Oh God, it's crazy, isn't it? This kind of crap. Thus redefining the situation to deflect immediate blame. I know, it just cracks me up. Like, I go back, guys are probably the same, you go back to remembering incidences like this, and because I've healed and I'm thriving, I find it so humorous, the ridiculous things that narcissists do to get out of responsibility. Okay, so in this situation, and I know it might still really hurt you so much, so please excuse me finding it humorous, and my greatest wish is that you get to this place too one day, and I know you can. All right, so shifting blame. This person who forgot the birthday accuses the spouse of not reminding them about the birthday. Oh my God, as if they should. Because they had so many other important things on their mind, implying the oversight is partly the spouse's fault for not being considerate of their busy schedule. I'm sure you can relate to this. Making excuses. The narcissist might also say that they've been under a lot of stress at work, suggesting that their mental load made it difficult to keep track of personal commitments. And then we've got this old chestnut, which I'm sure you've experienced, attacking the accuser. When the spouse expresses disappointment, the narcissist criticizes them for making a big deal out of one mistake, questioning their priorities and accusing them of being ungrateful for all the other wonderful things that the narcissist has done in the past. Can you relate? Just say yes in the chat if you can relate to any of this. Because you know what? The thing is, narcissists come out of the same cookie cutter. They are all cut from the same cloth. It doesn't matter whether they're covert, they're overt, whatever flavour they are, this is the tactics they use. That's the deal. When I first started writing about this stuff, people were writing to me and they're saying, are you in my living room? Are you in my house? It's pretty stock standard. Okay, so what's the impact of this? This response not only deepens the emotional rift of what just happened in that transgression, but also manipulates the narrative to make the spouse question their own feelings and their own expectations. And I'm sure you can relate to that. You think, well, was I expecting too much? Was I wrong to feel that way? And that further entrenches the narcissist's control and ability to avoid true emotional intimacy and equality in the relationship. Yep, that's how it happens. So example 2 is a workplace scenario. So in this situation, a narcissist who is a team leader misses a critical deadline that jeopardizes a project. And this error clearly stems from their poor planning and the disregard for the team's advice and what is necessary for teamwork. So the narcissist's response has a denial of wrongdoing. So initially, the narcissist denies that the deadline was missed and insists that the timeline was unrealistic from the start, despite previously agreeing to it. Who's been in a workplace where you've experienced this? And then we've got shifting blame. This person blames the team for not working hard enough or not communicating effectively, even though the team had repeatedly sought clarity and support from the narcissist. And then there's the making excuses. The narcissist claims that external factors such as supposed issues with suppliers or misinformation from upper management led to the oversight. And then we have this nasty one, attacking the accuser. When a brave team member points out the narcissist's roles in the failure, goes to hold them to account, right? This is what happens. The narcissist criticizes that employer's performance and dedication, does the whole switcheroonie, the whole tit for tat, suggesting that they're not committed to the team's success. Yeah? Isn't this so familiar? I'm sure you relate. So what's the impact of this? This response, of course, it damages team morale. It undermines trust. And of course, by avoiding any personal accountability that could have led to improved processes and relationships, it all starts breaking down. In both examples that I just gave you, the narcissist maneuvers to maintain their self-image. That's what it's all about, the false self, right? Maintaining that is everything to them. And control over the situation. They're avoiding any admission of fault that could equalize the power dynamics, could create collective community consciousness where we're all in a team together. Narcissists can't deal with that because that requires genuine emotional engagement or change, which the narcissist avoids at all costs. Let's check out when the narcissist fakes an apology. So this is really going into, okay, I'm going to fake an apology. We've all seen that too. Narcissists will often offer superficial apologies that serve their immediate needs. Just going to have, okay, excuse me. These manipulative attempts are designed to regain control or temporarily appease. Just tell people what they need to hear. It lacks sincerity. And it serves only to maintain dominance or agendas. When a relationship is at risk, they might offer dramatic expressions of remorse. We call it crocodile tears and gifts and promising to do anything. However, these are merely tactics to reassert control. They're not genuine regret. So let's give some more examples of this, because I really hope that these examples, I trust they're going to be really helpful for you. So example 1 is a corporate office scenario. So in this situation, a narcissistic manager is called out during a performance review for repeatedly taking credit for work done by the subordinates, which has caused resentment in the team. So the narcissistic response is a superficial apology. So how that goes, in front of the HR, the narcissist offers a quick, smooth apology saying, I'm sorry if there's been any misunderstanding about the contributions to our projects. It's never been my intention to overshadow anyone's hard work. So that's what they do. Strategic timing. This is another tactic that can be used. And this apology comes only after the HR department gets involved and there's a real threat to the narcissist's position and reputation within the company. So have we all seen that? An apology only comes at death knock. Your bags are packed, you're ready to leave, okay, or some serious consequence, and then the apology will come. And then there's also lack of sincerity. The apology lacks any specific acknowledgement of wrongdoing or detailed commitment to change behaviour, indicating it's merely a strategic move to diffuse this situation temporarily. Now we're going to go into an acknowledgement and what a genuine apology is. We're going to break that down soon. But there certainly wasn't that in this example. Manipulative intent. Following the apology, the narcissist might privately tell team members that the complaints about them have caused personal stress or harm, aiming to flip the narrative and get narcissistic supply, which is sympathy and control. So what's the impact of this? The team remains skeptical and sees the apology as insincere, because it was half-baked, leaving the underlying issues unaddressed and allowing the narcissist to maintain their dominant stance under a guise of remorse. let's have a look at a family dynamic scenario. So there's been a significant argument where a narcissistic parent is overly critical and hurtful towards their child, and their child pulls away and possibly cuts ties. The narcissist's response could be a dramatic apology, and in a dramatic apology, the narcissist unexpectedly shows up at the child's home with gifts and tearfully apologizes for the argument. And they say, I'm sorry for what happened. I just want us to be close. I don't want to fight like this. And this is a calculated approach. This grand gesture happens only after the child stops initiating contact and the narcissist feels their control waning. Emotional manipulation is happening. During the apology, the narcissist emphasizes how much the conflict has hurt them personally and shifts the focus from the child's feelings to their own. Continued control. Post-apology, the narcissist may demand immediate forgiveness. Demanding immediate forgiveness. Who's had that? Say me in the chat. And act as if the single apology should just restore normal relations. Using it as a leverage in further disagreements. Remember how I apologized? You can't keep holding this against me. Now, of course, you could use that formula for any relationship. Of course, you may have had a child, a narcissistic child, do that to you. You may have had this experience in a love relationship. Of course, this was an example. So the impact is, and I'm seeing that you guys are relating to this in the chat, the impact is the child may temporarily feel hopeful that their parent is capable of change, but the cycle of criticism and fake remorse continues, which reinforces a dynamic of control. There's no genuine resolution or improvement in the relationship. So in both examples, the narcissist uses apologies, if they ever do, but these apologies as tactical tools rather than opportunities for genuine reconciliation, aiming to stabilize their position and influence over others without any accountability and without any change. So when a narcissist says, I said I'm sorry, what more do you want from me? I'm sure you've heard this. They can't handle any scrutiny on the apology, and they're going to then renege it. They're going to pull it back. So if you kind of poke it, what does that mean, that apology? What are you going to do? How are you going to change? How can I be safe? Then they will say, I've told you I'm sorry, isn't that enough? And they'll pull it back and they'll tell you that you aren't loyal, caring, and you don't deserve any more confirmation. They demand that you just get over it. Okay, so we've covered off them. Back to us, which is the thrive away, of course. Thrive on. Okay, so how do we deal with narcissistic non-apology? Oh my God, from experience that this person will re-offend. The glitches, the oversights, the sense of entitlement that cause their actions to distress another person, they've never been owned, acknowledged, or adjusted. We know that when we're forced to overlook a non-apology or accept an insincere one, we're putting our emotional, mental, and literal soul health at risk. So why is it so much more important to receive a true apology rather than just two little words, I'm sorry? Especially when they're angry and defensive. It's ridiculous. Because we need to know, and this is on us, right? We need to know we are valued as much as we are healing up to value ourselves. People don't treat us how we treat them. They treat us in relation to the relationship we're having with ourselves. And we need to know we are worth so much more than two little words that are meant to just shut us up or because somebody is upset they got caught, rather than caring about how it actually affected us. It's not just about them wanting access to us again to fulfill their own agendas without our healthy interests at heart. So what is really required? What is really required in any healthy relationship? Awareness and consideration, because that's fundamental to humanity. I want you to open your heart and just feel that. Awareness and consideration is fundamental to humanity, point blank. So therefore, a conscious, genuine apology involves recognizing the impact of one's actions and demonstrating authentic remorse. It's about showing that you care enough to understand and address the hurt you've caused. Would you agree with that? Say yes in the chat if you do agree. Let's have a look at a genuine apology. I'm going to give you an example, and this is a really good example. So during a heated argument, one partner, let's just call him Alex, makes a dismissive comment about his partner Jordan's new career venture. And he says it's a waste of time, and he puts it down. Later, realizing the hurt that his comments caused, Alex decides to apologize sincerely. So Alex's apology, let's break it down. Acknowledgement of specific actions. Alex approaches Jordan in a calm setting, ensuring that he has Jordan's full attention. And he says, Jordan, I've been reflecting on our argument earlier, and I realised I was wrong to dismiss your new business ideas. It was really thoughtless for me to say it was a waste of time. There's your acknowledgement. Now here's an expression of genuine remorse. So making eye contact, and it would be with heart open, right? Not delivered from the head angrily, from an open heart. Alex continues, I'm really sorry for my words. I know how important this project is to you. And I didn't want to be disrespectful to your passions and your efforts. So he's acknowledged the impact on her and how it felt. No excuses or blame shifting. So Alex resists the urge to justify the behaviour by citing stress at work. Okay? Now this would be in the perfect world, the perfect apology, and we're going to go through it. Not every heartfelt apology is going to go through these exact steps. But please understand, a genuine apology is not I'm sorry but. It's not I'm sorry but. There's no excuses. It's on topic. Okay, so here's what he said. He wasn't making excuses. He said, there's no excuse for what I said and it wasn't fair to you. He didn't go, I'm really stressed at work and that's why I said it. That's actually not an apology, it's an excuse. Okay? Communicating empathy. Alex tries to empathise with Jordan's feelings. I can imagine how this comment could make you feel unsupported. And that's the last thing I want you to feel, especially from me. Because I'm your biggest supporter. Commitment to change. Now this is really important. Something that narcissists will never do. They'll never do the previous things either, but they certainly will not do this. They can lie about it, but they won't do it. Alex concludes with a commitment to improve. I want to be better at supporting you, not just in words and through my actions. I'm going to make more effort to understand more about your business and help where I can. Please tell me how I can support you moving forward. Gorgeous. How beautiful. That's so real. That's so genuine. Can you feel that? Jordan feels genuinely heard and validated. Alex's apology acknowledges the specific wrongdoing. It expresses true remorse and it includes a commitment to do better. They're the important things. which helps rebuild trust and intimacy in the relationship. This sincere, non-excuses apology and the effort to understand and support Jordan's endeavours fosters a deeper connection and a stronger partnership. Now, can you imagine? Let's get really real a bit about this. All relationships have arguments. They have disruptions, they have disagreements. But this is such a perfect time to lean in with empathy for greater connection and intimacy. Could you imagine how attracted you are going to be to somebody close in your life who can treat you with so much care and consideration? And you may think you're asking for them to fly to the moon. You're not. This is normal human relationship. Please understand that. We've been trained into thinking that it's not, but it is. We've also come from generations of parents that maybe were really crap at apologizing, and we were trained into accepting non-apologies or getting no apology. That's not how true connection works, okay? We've got to stand in this and know we deserve it. The authentic shift in higher consciousness for humanity right now, which I'm so passionate about in our Thriver movement, and you should be too, is unity consciousness, meaning we are one. We have got an open heart. We do have empathy. And what it means is if I do this to you, in effect, I'm doing this to myself. People in separation consciousness, such as narcissists, stuck in survival programs and me versus you, have a non-existent sense of their own true self and empathy. They're living their lives through a fictitious made-up character, the false self of who they'd like to be. They have zero empathy for their own inner self, let alone the capacity to care about yours. You're trying to make a chicken lay an egg with somebody who behaves like the examples that I gave you earlier. And no lecturing or prescribing or getting them to watch videos or Googling genuine apology is going to make a scrap of difference. They're in separation consciousness. They don't even have the foundational emotional goods to be able to meet you at what a genuine relationship is. So let's go through it again. These are the following necessities of a true apology. Caring about why somebody is aggrieved. They've got to care that you're hurt. They've got to acknowledge their part in it. No excuses. Admit it. Acknowledge it. Apologize from a place that expresses heartfelt sincerity. And you will know, and we do know when we get a genuine apology, because we feel cared for, we feel valued, we feel loved, acknowledged. They have to express a reform in behaviour. And you have to see the real life actions where there is positive change. If you're getting no apology or a non-apology, there will be no change in behaviour at all. Impossible. Nothing's changed. Now that you understand that and can get really clear about that you may be chasing something that doesn't exist. So now, who do you need to be to generate, receive, and accept? Value yourself enough to accept a life of genuine consideration and care. And this is where I love the quantum stuff. I love it so much because it gets to the truth of all of this. Quantum law is very exact. So within, so without. So it brings it all back to us. Who we're vibrating at and what we're choosing and what we're accepting. And so within, so without, what this means is whatever our beliefs and our worldviews and our emotional internal resonance is exactly what we accept and what we get. So if we're hanging on to all of the injustices and the resentments of non-apologies and not caring and not being valued, well then we vibrate at that and we keep participating with it, we keep attracting it, and we keep wrestling with it, trying to change it, and it will never change. And this is where, NARP Module 4, which is releasing the trauma of the injustices, is so, so powerful. And I've put the link up with this live. NARP version 5 is now out. Check it out. Because if we don't clean that stuff out, it dictates how we show up. And if we are still in trauma and we're unclear and we're undeveloped in terms of our deservedness, with trauma, you can't anchor into deservedness. You're trying to fake it till you make it, and you keep going back into the trauma and keep recreating that emotionally. Okay, so if we can raise consciousness without the trauma, but if we haven't done that and we haven't yet up-leveled our quantum self, our internal unseen emotional components, what is going to happen is we accept and we stay connected to low frequency behavior. Then what happens is always this, that epitomizes trying to change other people instead of changing the one person that we do have control over, which is namely ourselves. Consciousness, awakening to our consciousness and our inner consciousness, means we accept the truth of certain people's inability to genuinely be considerate. We stop lecturing and prescribing, we detach from them, and we say, no longer do you have access to me, because there's no point. And we work on healing our own relationship with self, self-love and self-worth, which requires letting go of those past traumas and those fractures. And when we do that, we feel more internally solid. We become what we seek. And then we can get to know people's character, empathy, and levels of conscious and accountability over time. We don't grant them access to our inner lives immediately unless they meet the criteria of genuine care and consideration, which of course means being accountable. And we've changed, you see. We've changed a lot with that inner work, because we show up, we can ask for what we need. We can set boundaries. We can be authentic. We can speak the truth. We can stop feeling like a scared child on the inside, expecting people to be mind readers and look after us. And then we see the evidence of who is a higher frequency match for relationships of integrity. Can they hear our boundaries? Can they meet our needs? Can we have honest, authentic, and difficult conversations with them without it turning into a narcissistic three-ring circus where your head spins? Because genuine people can. And then we rise in deservedness. We get better, we do better, we receive better. We take our power back and we stop vibrating in the low frequency of victimhood, blaming others for their inability to apologize and be accountable and be comparing and sincere and have empathy. We stop doing that. And instead, we start evolving ourselves. Please know, beautiful thrivers, beautiful people do exist. But we need to be the foundational quantum, unseen, inner self, emotional alignment. And we do that through inner work and evolution to be able to have this. So if you are ready for this inner work, my Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, which is now upgraded to version 5, step by step takes you through that exact process, which will change you from a person hanging on to people, whether physically or because you weren't able to let go of the memory of them. You'll be able to let that go for good, elevating you into much higher levels of personal consciousness and beautiful relationship capacity. So check out the link in the description. So thank you for joining me today and for watching this episode. And if you have questions or comments, please know I'm going to do my best to respond to them. And if you've enjoyed this video and it's been really impactful and you feel it as truth in yourselves, then I encourage you to please like, follow, share, whatever platform you're watching this on, or the replay, and subscribe, because your engagement helps us to reach more people who have been trying to heal from information rather than transformation, who can benefit from my Thriver insights. And also hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube so that you don't miss any updates of my releases. Alright, so beautiful people, keep healing, keep smiling, and keep thriving, because truly, what else is there to do? Thrive on. Lots of love. Bye-bye.